Hello, welcome to another video. Umut here. Today I have another exciting product here from Arteza, and I'm going to make an art journal using these beautiful markers. They are called Everblend Art Markers, and there are 60 markers inside this beautiful bag. Look how it comes. It comes with this beautiful bag that has a strap and everything. It's really good quality. You don't need to think about where to store them, how to reach them. I haven't opened it yet and I didn't use them yet, so I'm going to do it with you. So I'm just taking off this strap, and watch out the codes there. There are QR codes that helps you with tips, and also for your next order, like when you order something, for the next one it gives you a 20% discount. And here are the colors that they have in this collection. Beautiful pinks, peaches and blues and greens it looks like. So let's open it now. I love it when a product comes with these experiences of unboxing it and little tips and tricks that makes you happier. And here are the beautiful markers. They are like a triangle shape, which is also aesthetic according to me. And here are the colors: oranges, reds, pinks, purples, a lot of greens and blues, also grays and other. And I think there's a blending colorless one as well to blend everything. And let's have a look at one of them to see how they look. I'm going to just pull out a light peach color. Here it is. It's very nice to the touch. And one tip is chisel tip, and the other is like this. It's a point nib. Very useful to color different sizes of areas. And you put it back in its place, and they look very nice and tidy. And let's pick a couple of colors to see how they blend together. This is a really nice coloring option because alcohol markers are very vibrant and very easy to use. There are Copics as an alternative to this, but the prices are not even comparable. Copics are very expensive options, and if you're like me, you will just color images for your art journals. You're not a professional alcohol marker artist, which I am not. I think I would go for more economical options rather than investing in something very expensive. And here I blended the two colors, and it looks like they perfectly blended. And now I want to try the chisel nib to see how it looks. And I'm just going to play with it a little bit with different tones of pink to see how they blend. I just got carried away and included like 4 colors of pink to see how it looks. I also have a set of Copics, by the way. And from my experience now, as I said, I'm not making pictures, illustrations with alcohol markers. I just use it to color, and from time to time even, because I use color pencils, other mediums. So if you use it from time to time just to color images, it's not your main medium. I definitely don't see a quality difference or a major difference that will say, oh no, it's not like Copics. Maybe go for the expensive one. For me, it's definitely both of them do the job. As you saw, even the pinks with many colors blend really nicely, and they are very vibrant. So now let's go on with the art journal here. I have this beautiful rice paper that my friend sent me. So thanks a lot to my friend for sending this because it's gorgeous. I'm going to put the name, and this is from Prima Marketing, and I'm going to put the code of the rice paper so that you can find it wherever you are. It will be at the description area. I will use this beautiful vintage face to start with my journal. I'm using my Arteza watercolor book, by the way. I use it in this way, not to have a spine in the middle, so I have a seamless page. It has really nice pages. Watercolor paper is also thick, and it allows you to use many mediums without having a problem. And last time I used it with a lot of water, and it didn't seep through the spine, which made me really happy. So I will continue using this. I will link all the Arteza products down below at the description area with the links. I also have a discount code as usual, Umutrados5, you can see on the screen, to have a 10% discount for my viewers. So if you buy from those links, please use the code so you can buy it cheaper. In the meantime, I'm using a background stamp, and I'm going to stamp it with many different colors of green, as I pulled out here from my stash. This background stamp is from In Love Arts, another company I'm working with. I will also give the link to you down below for this stamp. Their prices are very economical, so it's a very good option. I'm just mixing some greens, dark green, light green, olive green, whatever I found, just to stamp here and there. I'm just working on the background yet. This will all stay at the back. And as you saw, after pulling out the face, I also cut some piece of the same rice paper that had scripts on it and stick on the corner. And now I'm going to do some stenciling. This is a Harlequin stencil from Prima. I will just use it with some texture paste. Here it is from Daler Rowney, and stencil here and there to create some background texture that will make my project more interesting. Since I have this huge woman's face that has a vintage look, my project will be vintage looking. So I won't go heavy on color this time. I will have this focal point is very significant anyway, and I will just complement her in the best way I can and create some harmony. I love this stencil actually. It's great to create texture and fill the empty space in big pages maybe. After I do this, I will just leave it to dry and work on my other objects. This is a butterflies stamp from Stampendous, and I will just stamp it on this cardstock. I'm using a regular cardstock with my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I used it because I'm going to use alcohol markers, and Memento Black ink works very well with alcohol markers and doesn't bleed. Whereas archival bleeds a little bit, so I wanted to make that mark. And I'm using my beautiful Arteza markers. Again, I'm reminding you that I have a discount code here on the screen, and I will have all the links down below for the watercolor notebook that I'm using as an art journal, and for these markers. But I will have a general link as well for you to see their other products. I'm really happy with these markers because the blend is really nice. It's very easy, much easier than color pencils actually, because it takes less time to blend with markers. With pencils you need to work at it a little bit more to make it really smooth and seamless. And with markers it just takes less time. These are alcohol based markers, not water based markers, just to remind you, and they bleed at the other page. For example, I'm now coloring this butterfly and it's bleeding at the back. So if you're planning to stamp and color directly on your page, know that it's going to bleed at the back because they are very strong and alcohol based. I'm just using one color and the other color, and then I'm just blending them together. If you go over and over a couple of times, they blend really nicely. I'm not cutting this part out of the video, and I'm coloring all this together with you, because I always receive comments not to leave it out for you guys to see. But if you are bored, you can just move forward and see the rest of the journal page. In this one I used a couple of green shades, and in this butterfly I'm going to use a green, olive green, and yellow. And when I go through them a couple of times, they blend very nicely, as you see. All of them blended nicely. Because this is a little butterfly, I just made it red. And in this one I will use a couple of colors, reds, oranges, and yellows. And I made the center red. Now I will do the rest orange. And let's make other parts yellow, so this becomes a colorful butterfly. When I'm going to cut, I'm not going to cut the antennas or anything, of course. We can draw them later. And as you see, I'm just blending with a color lighter, color darker to make it look nice. I don't know you, but I find coloring very therapeutic, meditative as well. You just forget about everything and focus on giving color, making it look nice, for the colors to go together. That's why I love painting too. And I'm going to color these green, and the other one coral red. And I will fussy cut them and come back. Don't worry, I'm not going to show all the cutting. But just to show you one, I am going around all these edges with a black marker to make them not look cut, and not to show the white edges on the page. Now that I know more or less the color scheme, I'm going to give some color to my background as well, and my texture paste dried. I'm using my Distress Oxide inks. It doesn't matter, you can use Distress as well. I find these move smoother and easier to cover large areas. That's why I use oxides. I used fossilized amber, wild honey. Now I'm using lucky clover. So I'm going with a color scheme of muted greens, yellows, oranges, and reds. And I'm not now using fire brick. After that, I'm also going to go over the page with vintage photo to make it more vintage looking and tone it down. But I love the colors. Also, it's not possible to make matte with Distress Oxides, even when you mix opposite colors, so which is great. And now I'm using vintage photo just to go over it and make it more vintage looking. I went with these colors because these colors go very well with a vintage look. And she has a red lipstick, a yellow necklace. So I thought this combination would go well with this face. And now I'm using black soot just to go around the edges and darken it up so that the eye can be drawn into the middle of the page. It makes a nice frame. And after that I'm going to go for the sentiment. And for the sentiment I chose these word stickers from 7 Dot Studio, which has 3 colors that can go very well with my page. So I selected 3 of those that could go as a sentiment here. So this one is Forever Young, and it's a kind of corally color. And the other is brownish, which is She Was a Wildflower. And the other is Butterfly Kisses, because I will have butterflies all over the page now. And I'm just cutting it with an angle just to make it more interesting. And here it is. I'm really happy with this. And I'm going to stick the butterflies in the middle, giving them a little bit dimension on the wings. I put one on her hair as well, which will look nice. I'm using matte medium, so when they dry it will be all clear. I will just stick my butterflies as if they were coming from the corner. And I am just making a darker, very thin frame with my brush marker from Faber-Castell. It doesn't matter, you can use any brush, any marker, just to make it really dark at the very edges. And finally, I'm going to have very little splashes with white. This is watered down gesso. I'm using a very thin brush, not to have big blobs of white splashes all around. Very little, just to give a little bit more interest and movement to the page. Really happy with it, so I don't want to fiddle with it more and call it done. Here it is, you can see I love the colors and the vintage look and this rice paper. And the markers did a very good job at coloring the butterflies in the best way possible. I hope you enjoyed it too. If you did, please don't forget to hit the like button or subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to use your code if you're going to purchase from Arteza, and the links are all down below. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time.